Welcome back, everybody, to Sea Otter Town Hall podcast. With you, as always, my name is Dylan Krasinski. Thank you for joining us. These episodes are out every Wednesday. Rate, review, subscribe. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube. Yeah, we're going to get right into it, and I'm going to introduce you to my co-host, the person who's always with me, the very funny and incomparable Mike T. Kerrigan, everyone.
Yes, welcome to the podcast. And this week we got my good friend, Big T, also known as Tom Farrell by his government name. So welcome to the podcast, brother.
What up, Mike? Thank you for having me.
Real psyched to have you, dude.
Real
psyched to have you. All I keep hearing about from Kerrigan is fucking what a character you are, what kind of stories you got, and fucking that's what this pod is, baby. It's comics telling their craziest stories. So, like, I was like, he's a perfect fit, dude. We got to do it.
Awesome. Yeah, me and Dom, we just got back from a DMT tour with Dominic Leonelli. That's standing for Dom, Mike, and Tom, and other things. And we had a great time.
What kind of other things?
South. DMT, man.
Oh,
we didn't do DMT on the tour. Thank God.
We were in the South. We were the Midwest to the South. It was fucking awesome, man. It was tough. The drive, and you underestimate. It says 12 hours. Like, yeah, we could bang it out. Boom, boom. Next thing you know, you're not sleeping, staying in the weirdest motels, fucking just coffee to push through, and we did it.
Yeah, we did it. It was fun. The shows were great. And, you know, we had fun, but like you said, those rides. Remember the mountain ride? That was. I thought I was going to puke.
It was like Pee Wee Herman, you know, when he's the squiggly road and like those long, with no railings. I'm like, thank God I'm not
just
eating
100
edibles,
feet down. You're done. It's over.
No sleep, but it was fun. We had a blast, man. It was awesome.
It's a little rundown. You're originally from Brooklyn, but you moved to Rockaway, right?
Yeah, like 6th grade.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I love it out there. You know, it sucks in the winter, but
Right on the beach, baby.
Yeah,
that's nice.
In the summer, you know, I'm fucking on the boardwalk, the beach. It's just, it's great, man. It's where to, like, I can't wrap my brain around people living in anywhere but Rockaway in the summer. Like, yo, it's your balls are sticking to your thighs. Like, go to the beach. You know what I mean? Feel them sizzle when you walk in the Atlantic Ocean. You know,
dude, they should hire you to do the advertisements for Rockaway. I mean, hey, come to fucking Rockaway.
Your balls sticking to your legs. Come on down. Yeah, let's go.
Dude, I'd hire you. If I was mayor of Rockaway, I would be like, let's get Tom Farrell in here and do our reads right on the radio.
I think Tom is the unofficial mayor of Rockaway.
Yeah, there's some people that might disagree with that. Like, he fucked my daughter. He sold my son blow. Like, fuck you. It was a different era.
Yeah, and what do you want to plug any of your stuff that you do for a living or?
Oh yeah, we got Bake What Your Mama Gave You, my edible company.
Yeah,
fuck yeah.
CBD also. We re-released a new moisture line with the CBD. We're gonna do CBD pills. I'm working with the CBD extract. We got THC TV with Big T. We're back recording next week. My camera guy got hurt, and just a Big T show and just stand-up comedy. I mean, wherever and anywhere I can get on stage, even the back of my pickup truck. You know.
Yeah,
dude, that's what it is. It's a struggle, baby.
Yeah,
everybody's trying to get on stage.
We got a sound system. We'll come to you.
Yeah, anywhere.
Yeah. That's good. I'm glad we start doing plugs earlier in the show now because, you know, first 10 minutes, we really suck them in, and then we do them at the end. And then
well, this is also like just so they know who Big T is.
Exactly.
I appreciate that.
He's out there.
And have to get you on the cooking show with both of you.
Yeah.
You know, come down to Rockaway. Even if you
I'd love
THC,
that.
we'll do CBD. We'll fucking rock out.
Yeah.
And I put a lot of CBD in. It's like, wow, am I high? That's how relaxed you are. It's mind function. There's a term for it, but I can't remember it. But Mike, you were like the first person that said to have my mom or guest on, right?
I don't remember, but I've watched it almost maybe from the first episode.
I appreciate it.
You had your mom on?
Oh, my mom's always she's in Florida now, but she was a mainstay.
How was that?
She's like the size of Mike and gets ripped. You know what I mean? We done milligram challenges on the air, and she's calling out the champ like on the show. I'm like, what the fuck, Mom?
That's scary.
Okay? So anybody who listens to the pod knows that I talk all the time about how I don't smoke weed, I don't do edibles. They fucking freak me. They give me anxiety. I have panic attacks nonstop. Like 10 milligrams of edibles will give me a panic attack. What kind of milligrams are you doing here? What are you talking about here?
Yeah.
Well, the milligram challenge, my friend, skinny guy, says he doesn't get high. I think because his body processes food like a snake. Like he probably shits like little rabbit shit.
Okay.
You know, like
yeah.
So it goes through him quick. And it was the Hanukkah episode. I'm fucking medicating Lockers, Rubens, just fucking getting him. He's punch bars, like thousands of milligrams. He didn't get high, or people were saying he was high, so my mom called him out on the air. Next thing you know, she and him's in Florida she and him. I don't even know if that's English, but so we had to put it out there like, hey, we need people for the milligram challenge.
Yeah.
This lady T Sight, I never met her, came from Connecticut. She's the reigning #1 contender. She ate 4,000 milligrams. These are absurd numbers.
Oh my
These
God.
But like, it's on the air. You watch me throwing bags of candy. Like, we're doing the math. My friend Morch did 3,500. I did like 25, and like, it takes days off your life.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and those numbers are conservative because at one point I did a dozen cereal treats with distillate, which is like 100% THC, and it's like this clear liquid of hell, and like your mouth was coated with like this THC, like when Homer drank the wax in the Ghost Pepper episode on The Simpsons, and like that's even more. So we're probably like even higher than that, and it was wild. And this lady T Sight came down from Connecticut out of nowhere. She's fucking drinking THC, smoking dabs. I'm like Oprah. I'm throwing milligrams into the crowd, and we're just doing the math throughout the show. It's fucking wild. These are absurd numbers. You know what I mean?
That is, how are you alive?
Dude, his cameraman would go to the emergency room on like the regular.
Yeah, in that episode,
I'd have a panic attack. I would be in a coma right now. Oh my God, dude.
that episode we had. He's my old partner. I don't want to plug him, but he's autistic, and the other guy was like super autistic on the spectrum, and a blind comic, Minaj, who's super cool. Those are the commentators, an autistic guy and a blind guy. But the camera guy, we did a podcast, and like, oh, so you have some stuff for us? I'm like, yeah. I wasn't thinking. I start giving it out. He eats one, and they're all drinking a little, eating the edibles. An hour in, he starts doing like these like Fortnite dances, like it looked like he was dancing. And he was having a mental seizure, and he's like pacing back and forth. And he's like, "Tommy, I need water." I'm like, fucking giving him my gallon of water, and like I'm like, "Fuck, man!" Like, you know what I mean? Like I felt something was getting weird. And he's like, "I call 911." And I'm like, "Yo, I don't even drink and do blow anymore." And I'm calling 911 on one of my fucking friends. Fucking 2 EMTs show up, like straight out of Central Casting for an Italian Jersey combo. There were like 2 Italians, like talking like Dice Clay. You know what I mean? It was like, he's like, "I can't breathe. I can't feel my testicles." Like, sir, you're breathing. Like, he's screaming, "I can't feel my testicles." And like, then they take him out. Like, "You're not going to the hospital, Tommy?" I'm like, yeah. That's what I was doing. I was grabbing my bag. I'm leaving. I'll see you guys later. One guy's puking in the corner. It was like something out of a movie.
Holy shit.
And I go to the hospital. There's a cop car. I'm like, "Yo, I'll pay for your Uber. I'm not going in there." And then he got strapped down to a gurney because he thought his grandpa got hit by a bus. And I'm like, "A double decker?" He's like, "How'd you know?" And like, and and I paid for his Uber and said sorry.
So how many milligrams was it that he had?
It wasn't much, but it's just I make strong edibles. You know,
Like, you know what, like 100?
Probably a couple hundred.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
dude.
I took one at we did
lot.
like a golf at like the 13th hole in Rockaway.
Yeah.
It was a great show, and I remember I remember whoever I walked in with, I go, "Dude, I'm not doing edibles." Had a great set. There was edibles on every table, like kind of like a Dunkin' Donuts box full of them. Dude, pop it in. I'm like, "How bad?" Dude, I was rocked. The kid I came with was like, "Dude, I can't drive. I've had too many drinks." He's like, "You good?" And I was like, "Yeah," but in my head, I'm like, "I'm not good, dude." And I drove, but I drive slow. That's all I do. I don't drive like reckless. I'll drive extra slow on edibles.
That's considerate of you, dude.
Yeah.
Drive slow on edibles.
Yeah, which I don't normally do, and I don't really do edibles at all. So,
Yo, that's crazy. I would die, dude.
oh, you'd be high for a couple days off one of T's edibles.
I'd
Absolutely.
be comatose. The last time I took edibles was at my cousin's wedding, and I literally like was high the next day, and I was like, "I hate this. I do not like
Yeah,
this."
you do get a hangover from edibles. I do anyway.
That's a freebie. You know, there's so many cheap people in this world, and then I hear people complain about the free high the next day. I'm like, all right, but you were haggling me for the $10 for the cookie. And the freebie the next day you're complaining about?
Yeah, it's $5, 2 for 1.
Dude,
sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, I think one of the worst times I took edibles, I always take them unmarked. That's like the Mike Kerrigan way to do it. Like, no clue. It was one cookie. I don't know who my roommate gave it to me. I was like, dude, I probably could eat 5 of these. And I got on the Excella train to Boston, and that's supposed to be extra quick. It was a snowstorm. Dude, it turned out to be an 8.5-hour train ride. Luckily it was long because I was panicking for 8. I'm glad I didn't get there in 2 hours. My mom picked me up as a grown man having a panic attack. I wouldn't tell her, I'd just be all pale, like not talking.
God.
But yeah, that sucked.
The first leg of the DMT tour was just a couple states away, Rhode Island, and I had some cookies from an event, and I was leading off with my I have a a merchandise joke.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I got some stuff in the back for you. And there were these old ladies. They were hounding me. You know what I mean? And like, I was like, hey, listen, please just take one bite. She's like, oh, we eat like 5 milligrams. We ate 6 the other night. And I'm like, 30 milligrams. I'm like, sir, make sure your wife just nibbles a corner of this cookie. And they were, hey, listen, I got rid of all those cookies. And I think about if I killed anyone in Rhode Island that night, because I had to. They're eating 5 milligrams. And the cookies taste good. They're never just going to eat one bite. Older ladies, too.
That's my problem with edibles, dude, because I want the cookie. I want the cookie. I want the candy. I want the cookie. And then they just put them around on the tables. It's a tease. I hate that.
Now,
I don't like it.
How can because we always get, whenever we talk about weed and milligrams and doing them, we'll get like, the comments will blow up, like, you're a joke, like, I do this for, how can these guys, just so they know that if they ever want to hit you up directly for edibles, can they hit you up?
Yeah. Big Tits, Big Pics, message me, and then we'll take it from there.
Is that on Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram, Big Tits, Big Pics.
And get taken off YouTube.
Yeah, because we'll have guys in the comments like, dude, I eat 900 milligrams for breakfast.
Hey, it's crazy, dude.
And they probably, some people do, and they're like, I do 10 dabs and I'm not high. I'm like, yeah, well, you got a problem on your hands.
That's the way they hate it. They hate when I go,
hate it.
Hey, listen, if you're an addict, just say it. They fucking get so mad. Oh, God. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, I'm fucking always, I can't shut the fuck up.
No, I love that.
This
That's
is the
perfect.
podcast for that. Now, Dylan would love to hear, I'm sure. We're in Bushwick right now, the time that you met
Oh, yeah, dude.
Mike Tyson.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. I used to work for UPS, and around this time, I was already out of work with my work injury because I was off every summer. I live on the beach. I ain't working. I'm working with Caribbean dudes. I'm wearing long pants and long shirts in the summer, and I'm going to therapy complaining about that. And the lady's like, why do you care? I'm like, because I'm sweating. I'm sweating right now. I don't do good in the summer, but I was off every summer.
You get hurt right before the summer?
Yeah, every Dr. Summer off. I lived on the beach. I was selling blow. I didn't need to work. You know what I mean? I was making more money out of work than in work with the side insurance and fucking workers' comp. It was a whole racket. But I got back, and they were fucking with me because they knew they were mad. I took off another summer. So they gave my route to a trainee, and they threw me in Bushwick. And I'm going down Weirfield, somewhere like 2-3 blocks over. And I'm like, you know, the Brooklyn double park car situation, which, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much shit wrong with the world, but we come together on alternate side of the street parking in Brooklyn. You know what I mean? You can just double park then. And I'm going around. I'm like, oh, shit, this must be the neighborhood guy that looks like Mike Tyson. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, yo, he has the tattoo, too? I'm like, no, that is Mike Tyson. I'm like, oh, what up, Mike? I love you, brother. Gave him a pound. Yo, it felt like cinder blocks. I call my boy up. I'm like, yo, I just saw Mike Tyson. He's like, you didn't get a picture? I was like, fuck, he's right. So I had to go up and around. I come back and double park the truck. I'm like, yo, Mike, big fan. Can I get a picture? And he's like, yo, his boy's like, yo, you know you look like Butterbean? And my manager, my first day back from drinking and doing coke and eating, like, after I come down also, I would come back bloated. Bloated and red. And I was like, oh, my manager just said that to me this morning. Took a picture. In the picture, his hands just cocked. Like, you know what I mean? You can see.
Holy shit.
And, because around here, you got these big flat roofs. It's great for running the pigeons. And like there used to be a store on Broadway that sold like pigeon feed, like just specifically for pigeon stuff. And that's a big thing for Mike. He grew up in Brownsville, which is right on the other side of Broadway.
Oh shit.
So
Did
like
he really?
Yeah. So he has roots over here and probably runs his pigeons and stuff.
Dude, that's how one of his, like how Mike Tyson became Mike Tyson is, dude, he got picked on as a kid, right? He was like a chubby kid. Dude, some dude took his pigeon and twisted its head.
Are you
and that's
kidding?
Like, I think that's the first guy I think he knocked out. He just knocked out, and all the kids seen him do that. And from that day on, they were like, you know, he moved up in like the crime rankings. Dude, he was like 7 or 8 or he was very young, but he was a big kid. Yeah, that's the first guy he knocked out, and for good reason, dude. What kind of psycho twists the head off a kid's pigeon? You know what I mean?
It's absolutely insane.
That's such a different generation than our generation. They're like, yeah, someone misgendered me. It's like, yeah, someone murdered my pet in front of me.
My pet pigeon.
Yeah.
Dude, that guy today would be in jail. He'd be in prison. They would just call and fucking lock you up, dude. For killing an animal? Yeah.
And when you met Mike, this isn't like new mushroom DMT Mike. This is like right out of prison, face tattoo Mike.
Mid 2000s, I would say.
Oh, so he'd been out for a little while, but he was still super scary.
Yeah, he was. It was before he started just chilling out a little.
Yeah, smoking like a pound of weed a day, and he's still like he's still scary.
Yeah.
Dude, he's still ready
and I
to
love
fight.
Mike. If
Still
he's
ready
watching.
to fight. I like how you said that as if he's watching.
Yeah, I just said it out loud.
And as if he's going to take offense and come and find
The
you.
the minute I seen like as if Mike's watching like live, he's like, I gotta.
He's like,
go get
that
him.
pizza shit.
He just had Alex Jones on the show, but they won't allow him to broadcast it. But
Why?
Because
This is Alex Jones.
Alex Jones. But Alex broadcasted his interview with Mike, which is real cool. Mike's trying to get him to smoke the toad.
Sick.
If you don't like edibles, Dylan, you don't even want to know
What's
about
the toad?
Smoking the toad blood, or no, the toad venom.
I've heard of this.
It's supposed to be very it's almost simulates you dying.
Is that DMT?
It is a form of like 5 DOA DMT. It's like like people who do DMT are like, that's too much for me.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Really?
you really do feel like you're dead.
Well, because that's what I heard is that the reason people do DMT is because that's what your brain releases when you die.
Yeah, I think the way the natives got into it was like they seen like an animal lick the toad, or try to eat the toad, and it looks like the animal died, but then in an hour just comes back to life. So kind of like that's its like defense mechanism.
What a crazy thing that like an animal, they see that an animal has this defense mechanism to stop other animals from hunting it, and they're like, let's fucking smoke that.
Yeah.
Let's kill it.
Well,
and
dude, when I was a
smoke it.
teenager, that was exactly my mindset. I smoked a lot of weird stuff, dude. Because we couldn't get, you grew up, we and Big T are the same age. He grew up here, so we could probably get whatever we want. Like sometimes there would be what's called like a drought. The youth don't know what that is. That's when someone got busted up big in the chain, and your town wouldn't have weed for a while. So we'd be reading this thing called like Anarchist Cookbook. We're like smoking peanut shells, banana like shavings.
Oh, the banana one I remember.
Yeah, and none of them worked, thank God. But they're probably terrible for you. And so we would do anything.
Damn. So when you met Mike Tyson, that's the story. He was just like fucking cool to you. Was he intimidating at all? Was he kind of like, what the fuck is this guy doing coming back?
And the cinder block hands and the picture when it's cocked and like, because my friends made memes out of it, Butterbean versus Tyson, and they never even fought, but they did it side by side. Some good Photoshop, and the guy's saying, "Hey, you look like Butterbean," so it lightened the moment a little bit.
Yeah. Because I bet, dude, he came out of prison and he was like he was like ripped, right?
Dude,
he got like super jacked and like lean. And then like ready to fight, and I feel like he was like real angry.
Dude, when they asked him like how was prison, he's like, I loved prison. You're like, oh my goodness, like this guy is another type of dude. Well, he's done the toad 60 times.
Jesus, man.
Really?
Yeah, I thought like that's the type of thing I think most people do once, and then probably like some people 3 times. But you've seen him. Have you ever seen him eat mushrooms on the air?
Yeah.
Like he'll just put a fistful of mushrooms, and I always think, dude,
Oh, yeah, I
what's the
saw
rest
that.
of his day like? You know what I mean? Like, that's just part of your day. Like, I don't know what he does. I think he just goes home and hangs out with his family. I don't know what the hell he does.
That's nuts.
But like, for me, I'm going in the woods for 10 to 12 hours after that.
Years.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
At a comic, grabbed some mushrooms from me. These gigantic penis envy. These albino.
Dude, those are supposed to be one of the strongest.
Some people who are my mushroom people, like, yo, these are intense.
Yeah.
I took some. And I might have waited out wrong. Like, I came home, my girl came home. I was like under the blankets with a hood on, watching some like monkey documentary on fucking Netflix. She's like, "You okay?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, just they were. I'm a big guy. He ate 13 grams of them for whatever reason.
Holy shit!
His girls texted me like, "What do I do?" I'm like, "Feed him a banana and put on low music." I didn't know what to say. I shouldn't even have answered. You know what I mean? I'm implicating myself. And like feed him a banana and low music. And then like he sent me the video, and it's something like, "All right, we have a TV show. Show me how you think someone would act on 13 grams of mushrooms." He's just making weird noises, going, his tongue smacking like one of those like those pug dogs, that always stick out. Like, I'm fucking like, even eating 13 grams of something, that's like,
That's insane.
it's a lot of chewing, a lot of
What
fiber.
what is like the dose of mushrooms, like a starter dose?
Half an eighth. So half of 3.5 grams for a normal person.
3.5.
So half of 1.7 grams.
1.7 grams is like the starter dose.
When I was a kid, we used to do half eighths, and we would trip balls.
What do they call that? Anything? There's like they call it the God dose.
That's like I think up to a quarter. So that's 2/8.
Dude, fucking
way more than a normal
double
person.
That
Yeah.
14. Jesus Christ. How many did you have when you were like fucking?
I thought it was a half a gram, and like even if I made a mistake and added a 1.6 instead of the 0.6, I thought I took, and it was just really intense. And that was 13 grams, and like the video just the noises he was making, it sounded like a casino when you walk through the fucking slot machine. You know, all those noises. It was fucking hilarious. I hope she fed him the banana and put on light music.
We don't promote any type of drug use. These are all cautionary tales on the Sea Otter Town Hall.
That's another comment we get. Is we get people being like, "You're a pussy," and other people being like, "Why are you telling kids to do this?"
We're telling kids.
Not.
We're telling you. See, we're telling you so you don't do it. I mean, if you heard the rest of our stories, they don't end with like us like CEOs of a company here. You know, most of them end up in a jail or like on a beach, just passed out.
Speaking of, have you ever had any encounters with the law? Have you ever been?
Where do we begin? Throughout the time, like fucking, just so like just. Besides the handful of times that I got assaulted, I defended myself and then laced someone up, and then I get arrested. It's like,
you mean lace someone like a cop?
No, beat the piss out of them. You know what I mean? After they hit me, like I have my own blood on my face from them hitting me just because they got the worst of it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, man! Like, it's so many times. DUI, my UPS uniform. My mom's house got raided.
Stop. Wait. You got a DUI in your UPS uniform?
Yeah, just not in the truck, but out drinking afterwards because I missed St. Patty's Day, and they said my license plate light wasn't illuminated, which I didn't even know I had a license plate light, and they pulled me over, and they're bringing me in central bookings. All the kids are running up to the cell like, man, they arrested UPS. They arrested everybody. They were so pissed. And it was embarrassing, man. Like in your uniform, full browns, the vest, the whole nine.
Oh, God. Did you get in trouble for that at work?
Yeah, I had to go through all these fucking programs and piss tests. And
They kept you, though.
Yeah, I had one more strike after that. Then they put me out as the white hand truck, they would call me, because I was like the token white guy in my center. They called me the white hand truck because I was the one out as the helper. Cause it's all in the contract.
Dude,
804, Teamster Hoffa, thank you.
Dude, yeah, that's a union shit. It's fucking so hard to get fired.
And like one time I cracked and I ate some ecstasy. And I was begging the guy next to me, I'm like, yo, I need your piss, man. I got the class, and it would piss test you for alcohol, but everything else popped up, and like I had it in a fucking Diet Peach Snapple bottle, put it under my testicles, my armpit, like to try to keep it warm. I go there and like, Mr. Farrell, this is a little cold. I'm like, nah, I just pissed. And I fucking ran out of there and I used my one absence, and the next week was Memorial Day, we had off, and then when we came back in, he's like, I thought we were all men here, like in front of the whole class, like we can't trust each other now. Now I gotta watch everyone piss, and everyone's like, come on. And like I'm sitting there whistling like it's all because of my fat ass. But I wasn't going down. I would have lost my job, man.
Yeah, dude,
They used to sell the it was like a squeeze bladder, and in the tube you just put it directly beside your Johnson there.
Smart.
And I know about that because we lived in the era. You're from the same, like everyone was one of my friends was always getting tested. You know what I mean? It was always, and then the parents, once one mom found about it, they're like, oh, okay, you're getting tested on. The thing is, they would give us the date. Big mistake. They'd be like, next Tuesday. It's like, all right, by then I'm gonna have like 6 or 7 people's piss hanging out in my basement, by the radiator. But that was the real way, was the tube thing, which I don't know anyone who
it started with the drink. Remember the drink?
Oh yeah, you had to. What was it called?
There was
I remember. I know exactly. And then you had to drink a bunch of water after. It was like something flush your system. They used to sell it where they sold the bongs.
Yeah, it made you piss neon green.
You know what I found out? All it was is it's a mega dose of vitamins that they put in it, so it like just blocks the test. I think.
Oh, just overwhelms it.
Yeah, it's like loaded with B vitamins and all sorts of other garbage. I don't know if those even work. Did those work?
No, it did. I used it a lot.
Vitamins or piss tests?
Yeah.
Then it graduated to the Whizzinator, which Mike was talking about.
Yep,
then it graduated to the Whizzinator with the different color cocks. You know what I mean? So if you're black, Spanish, Chinese, white, they matched your cock. And sometimes you go there and a white dick was out. You're like, all right, I got to get the Puerto Rican one today. It resembles me the most. Like because if they look at your dick, it has to look real. That was the Whizzinator. Ontario Smith, the running back of the Vikings, got caught in the NFL doing that.
Really?
That's wild, dude.
He would walk around with a fake. I had no fireman friends that walk around with a fake dick. Well,
Just
there's one
in
guy.
case?
Yeah. It's fucked up. There's burning. You're seeing people die. You can't go home and smoke a joint. It's
but now you can, if you get the medical card.
It's a slippery slope with them because I still have friends that chance of pension and a
It's,
fucking
it's weird that
retirement.
it's weird that now that it's legal, because I used to work. Well, I actually don't. I've said it before, but I used to be a prosecutor in Massachusetts, and like you couldn't smoke. But then when it became legal, there was this weird thing that they were like kind of treating it like alcohol. I think it should be treated like alcohol. Now that it's legal, it's like, why can't I smoke? Like, I'm not going to drink at work, but if I can't smoke when I get home, like, why?
Yeah, when you
who
go
gives a
home, but
shit?
like, yeah, smoking like how that would actually freak me out if like I would like if the DA is smoking a bone. I'm like, this is the guy gonna be prosecuting me. He's just like all like lackadaisical. He's like, oh, let him go, forget about it.
Dude, yeah. I don't think I smoked while I was before it got legal. I felt like a hypocrite. I didn't smoke weed while I was working there when it was illegal. I smoked before I got the job, and then after it became legal, I felt like a hypocrite, dude. I'm like, prosecuting people for marijuana. We used to throw all those out anyway, but
Yeah,
like,
but you wouldn't be prosecuting for a straight marijuana charge. It would usually be someone on probation, right?
Distribution.
Oh,
typically.
really?
That's like when it would get not even serious. But I was like, dude, this is bullshit. But the real reason they would prosecute people even after it became legalized in Massachusetts was marijuana is because the cops used to tell me is like marijuana is still the most dangerous drug when it comes to dealing.
Why? Oh, you're talking about people like killing people.
Because they said like it's usually like that's where the most ripoffs happen, because the harder drugs like coke and heroin and that kind of shit, they're usually more experienced and they have like more protection going on. Dude, the guys who are selling weed are either like young and dumb, or like it's at a level that's like crazy and no one's ripping them off. But it's usually like the dumb college kid who's like trying to sell weed who gets fucking ripped off and gets his shit kicked in or robbed. People are breaking into homes. That's what they mostly saw. So that's why they went after weed dealing when it was like,
yeah, no violence. I was
legal,
always like,
illegal.
just who cares? You know,
Let
in
'em
my
take
town,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
like it was ridiculous. They would raid the cops raided the parking lot my freshman year when the senior parking lot with dogs and ripped apart cars.
Are you
and like
kidding?
they came down, yeah, they brought dogs to school. It backfired, so then they never did it again. But I'm like, they used to have helicopters flying over like this area of grassland near where I live, looking for guys growing weed. I'm like, what a waste of tax money. First of all, it's not even that easy to grow weed. Like if you do, you should be like, hey, you're a real good gardener, bro. That's
Did
not
they
hard to pull up.
ever catch anybody with the cars? No
No,
one
what
had weed?
happened is they there was these two Mormon kids. Dude, my school, we all partied. People would be drinking during school. These two kids, they're like the two kids who didn't drink, they were like Mormon or something. Their dad smoked cigars, and the dogs alerted, and it was like a Mercedes Benz that he let them drive to school. They were like the best kids at our school,
Yeah.
and they ripped the leather up.
Whoa.
And they got so much trouble from that guy's dad that like. So right after my
school
freshman
did.
year,
The
I
school
knew
got
I
in
was like, it's
trouble?
on. Yeah, no, the cops got in trouble. So they're like, we're not doing that again. You know, they got
Yeah,
sued or
that's a
something.
fucking mistake.
Speaking of wasting taxpayers' money, you asked me if I got arrested. Queens Narcotics raided my mom's house. This is after I got thrown out of my mom's house for kicking the shit out of my uncle for going to my weed stash.
And how old are you at this time?
I was like 20, and I had plenty of money, but I didn't have a W-2, so I had to just fucking. I had to move into a garage, converted into a room with no kitchen, filling up water bottles in the shower. And then I got thrown out of that house. I had to move back home because I got arrested at this girl's school in the University of Hartford. They tried hanging me because of the Commonwealth fucking promoting the drug factory because I had a scale and baggies, all this other shit.
That's what you got arrested at the school for?
Yeah,
Weed?
so that cost me like $35,000 to get a fucking lawyer for that. So I had to move home, and I don't know who I was selling shit, but I didn't sell it to anyone like that. I don't know who set me up or why the Queens Narcotics came, but they stopped my brother who looked a little bit like me. So I'm like, oh, so they're watching me. So I started taking the coke and going. I live on the beach. I'd go on the other side of where I thought the property line was. This lady Marie, this older lady, and I would dig a hole and then bury it in the sand. I was that paranoid, or hiding it in like a soft cooler in this like summer house outside washer dryer shit to keep everything out. And I'm like, oh, so it was like a little snake maze. I knew everywhere, so I would ride my bike and not go to the main part where you would park your car because it's right on the beach. And I'm like, all right, I know ways around this. And then fucking came home one day after fucking partying, getting a haircut. I would do blow and just drink and get a haircut, put on a show.
Yeah.
And they came running out like 21 Jump Street guy with a ponytail. And I had like the Nextel work phone, the big black one. And I had the North Face. Like, what is that? I don't know, maybe white privilege, I didn't get shot because it looks like a butt end of a gun. Those big old Nextel black work phones, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they're like, where's the shit? We're going to fucking destroy your mom's home. My mom's in there just like washing her hands, cleaning me. My aunt dying of cancer, the neighbor that stopped by. I just felt so embarrassed. I'm like, officer, and they hear this all the time, but I got 10 bags of weed there. I just got a haircut. I was going to come home, drink some beer, and watch The Family Guy. And there'd probably be 6 bags if you came later. And they charged me with disorderly conduct because they had such egg on their face because it was like a big production and I got nothing. Because I was on to them. I hit everything outside the house.
Wow, dude.
But my mom threw me out anyway.
Holy shit. Dude, that's fucking... Damn. So they never caught... What did they call it? What did they charge you with disorderly for?
I was very orderly. They needed to charge me with something. And
did that get thrown out as soon as you...
Yeah, it was a release on ROR, and I paid like maybe like a $200 fine or whatever it was. It was because they had such egg on it, because it wasn't the 100 precinct, the local, it was the Queens Narcotics. You know what I mean? They came down, they felt so stupid. It's one of my shining moments in life. I
was always told, I was told if you want to get away with dealing drugs, deal on weekends only.
Really?
Yeah,
I never heard that.
A lot of the units don't work on weekends. They do all their recon during the week. I shouldn't probably say that on this pod, but you know, they said I remember one of the cops was like, yeah, if you want to get away with dealing, but no one has that discipline. Like, what are you going to just be like, nope, sorry, can't help you. Call me on Saturday. Like, you got to deal Saturday only. That's it. Friday night, Saturday night. And,
some dealers have hours, you know what I mean? It's crazy. But you talk about the robbery part. One of the most famous ones, she had a small role in Dirty Dancing, and they were selling weed above the Cat's Deli, and they kicked in the door. This is going back the 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, and high-end weed, you know, pound 4,000, whatever it is. You get a couple of them, that's a nice score. You know what I mean? So you're right about that aspect of it. You know what I mean? Like, people, it's the other stuff's more higher up, probably more guns involved on both sides. So it's like, all right, we both got to be cool. But some guy with a digital scale and a couple of pounds of high-end exotics, you know, that's an easy hit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Maybe we shouldn't be saying that on the air. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah, that's but that I remember that's what they said. They were, because I was like, well, what's the big deal with weed now that it's legal? Like, who gives a shit? And they were like, well, dude, we're still seeing a lot of, like, most of the violent stuff that has happening with drugs is related to weed.
Yeah, which is the one part that's what I hate. I liked when I smoked a lot of weed. I hated dealing with and we had to, when we were younger, up until we got to maybe like almost high school. Once we were in like freshman, sophomore year, and we were up with the older kids, we were fine. But we were dealing with a lot of criminals. Like I told you the story about those guys that we were hanging with. Like, and it was like unnecessary ripoff guys. I'm like, dude, if you would just sell weed, you'd make more money. But they just couldn't do that. You know, they wanted to they always wanted to rip somebody off.
Yeah.
And like they'd always have like, these would be like not real criminals, but kind of like criminal. They'd always have like a gun. And you just, like, I would never deal with them whenever possible. But my buddy who would pick up pounds, like, they'd always be ripping you off. They'd put that was brickweed back then. We were dealing with Mexican brickweed. So they put like a rock in the pound, you know, and you wouldn't until you open it up.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, they'd like all sorts of crap. One guy lost his wedding ring in a pound, right? So he put a rock in it. So he ripped my buddy off, but he lost his ring when he was bagging it up, and he called him. He's like, oh, you didn't happen to find my like ring, my $4,000 ring? We're like, yeah, and we also found a rock. And he's like, really? Dude, I don't know how it got in there. I'm like, you don't know how a rock got in a bricked up pound, you know? There'd be like pubic hair, and it was disgusting. That's what I don't miss. That's what I like about the legalization is like, you shouldn't have to deal with criminals to get weed.
That is nice. That is pretty nice. Yeah. It's all professional now, dude. I want to go to Starbucks to get coffee. I don't want to have to go to some guy's garage, you know, and have him make me a cup of coffee. I'd like to go to a professional setting, someone who knows what they're doing, and they're like, this will not make you have a panic attack. I'm like, great. But
people are, like, you walk around the streets now and you see people like, you're like, you are too high right now. They're just chiefing joints everywhere you go. And the weed is super strong, so they're like out of their minds.
One thing we talk about on here too, I don't know if you have any stories, is interactions with homeless people on the train. I feel like you have any interactions with people like that?
I love one of my favorite things to do. I'm fucking just mincing words. I smoked a pre-roll from the car on the way up. I just ripping one down, like you said, chiefing joints. One of my favorite things to do. Yeah. Homeless guy. Yo, man, let me get some money for some food, whatever. No, here. Take this Fruity Pebble treat. Take this cookie. So now the homeless guy eats the edible, An hour later, performance-enhancing drugs. Now he's harassing some family from Ohio in Times Square. Yo, man, I need some money for food. And, like, it just brings him up another notch of, like, yo, he's really serious this time. He doesn't want crack. He needs food. He's starving. And I just think about the mayhem. I start by giving these homeless guy edibles because, like, that's part of their shtick. I need money for food. And now they really fucking mean it.
Oh, dude.
Do you tell him it's drugs?
Sometimes.
Dude, you're just out here causing chaos. Dude. Chaos in the streets, man.
As I drive back to Rockaway and the beach and just
Laughing his
listen
head
to
off.
the water
Oh,
just
my.
crashing against the shore. And this guy's just causing mayhem in Midtown.
I did a similar, not nearly as crazy. I used to love to swipe people in because I got a monthly. I was swiping everyone in. And there was a couple times like I'd swipe it and I'd look in the guy's eyes and I go, "Oops, that was my bad." He's right away going on the train to cause mayhem.
Oh God, that's fucking good.
Do you mind if I just backtrack a little?
Yeah, do it.
Mike mentioned Mexican brickweed.
Yeah.
And it just clicked in my head. This is pre 9/11. It's probably like 98 because my friend, that's when I didn't go to college. I went to Kingsborough Community College twice. And my friends, they went to Yavapai College in like by Flagstaff in Arizona.
Yeah.
My aunt lived in like Scottsdale. So I was selling ecstasy back then. And just legit before 9/11, everything was very different. Just threw the E-bombs in the backpack of my JanSport. You know what I mean? Not even hiding it. And we got there and like her friend was selling this Mexican weed. It was like $3.50 for like a half pound. I'm like, yo, this is great. We're eating ecstasy. I never met up with them, but me and my uncle were eating ecstasy in the garage. I probably came back with 35, and I had this half a pound. And she worked for, I'm not going to name the airlines because I don't want her to get her in trouble. She works there. And I'm like sumo wrestling the weed under my balls and pouch with duct tape. And like I'm like 17, 18, you know what I mean? And I fucking get through. I'm walking, they're laughing at me. Like, you know what I mean? And like I have these E-bombs in my book bag, not even hidden. And then I get on the plane, and I take it off, and I throw it in my bag. The whole plane smells like weed. And like, yo, I could have gotten a lot of trouble, you know? 35 hits of ecstasy, half a pound of weed strapped under my ball. And you can smell it on the plane, I remember. Like,
Holy shit.
these fucking terrorists ruin everything, you cocksuckers. Never forget, you know? Cocksucking
Holy
motherfucker.
Flying is like the fun of flying is ruined.
Yeah, they really ruined interstate drug dealing.
Hey,
It was a good deal, man. I made a lot of money on that.
Yo, that's fucking nuts. Oh, so what drugs? So you sell weed now legally. You've dealt ecstasy. What are the drugs that you've interacted with and
everything except for the dirty pills, heroin, and guns.
That's good shit, dude. That's hey, listen. That's responsible.
that's respectable.
That's responsible.
That other stuff.
Doing my service for the country.
When you're slinging like the other stuff, like you're like I've heard stories of guys like they get you hooked on pills, and then what they'll do is they'll just drop a bag of heroin on
one
your
of our
couch.
buddies. One of our buddies.
Yeah,
has
so
a
Buddy
story
told me
about
that story.
Yeah, he was just getting off pills, and the guy came by, and he was like, "Oh, let me use your bathroom," and he left a little bag of heroin on the countertop, and he called him, and he was like, "Hey, man, you left something here." He goes, "Oh no, that's cool. I must have dropped it. Just keep that," and he fucking threw it right in the fucking toilet.
Yeah, I hate seeing people junked
He's
up
like,
on that
"That's
stuff. You know what I mean? You can.
bullshit."
I mean, people justify it how they justify it. It's like you're not making them do it, but like I would never want my. I don't deal anything, but I don't want my hands, anywhere near that.
Yeah, it's the fun stuff, Let
Yeah,
people
like
have
coke.
fun.
Cocaine. Like, listen, it ruined my life because I couldn't get out of my own way, and then to drink it, but it was such a fun time from the end of the 90s to like 2010. It was like the 80s, so maybe in Rockaway, everyone was doing
Rockaway
blow.
is you're in a different zone.
Yeah, what was that like? A Rockaway in the 80s?
Oh no! It felt like from the
Oh.
end of the 90s to the 2010, a little like maybe 2015. Like that's when I stopped. Like
Yeah.
I don't think people do it as much. I don't see the scene. Like
Yeah.
But like I remember my friend's dad came down to the beach. He's like, "Yo, who's holding?" I look around. I'm like, "Who's not holding?" You know what I mean? Like because I had people doing it for me because I wasn't doing comedy yet, but I doing like after hours or just my shtick once I was jacked up. Like people trying to buy blow from me, and I'm like talking like Tom. They've been there for an hour, and I'm like, hold on 1 second, dripping sweat, no shirt on. So I had to have other people sell it for me because either I was partying somewhere you couldn't find me unless you were with me. You know what I mean? Or I just wouldn't shut the fuck up. And like fucking, listen, if you're a coke dealer, if you see him have a bag of coke and it's not in rice, he doesn't care about you. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like when you put a phone in a bag when it's wet. In this humid fucking New York summer, that coked up, it's all gunked up. I would have bags of rice. People would wait, like their parents, like, he's coming home with this empty bag of rice. You know what I mean? Like, these kids are like, their parents are probably like, what is this bag of rice mean? It's because I give a fuck about my customers, and I want that moisture to be out of the coke so you get some nice powder up your nose so you can consume it all, and we can have a good fucking time. You know what I mean? Like, again, my service for the community.
Dude, yeah. Listen, these are things I had no idea about, and you know, let me say, very respectable.
We're highly against drug use on this podcast.
We are. Again, cautionary tales. Cautionary tales, my friends.
If you think it's cool, look how they make it down in South. Look at one of those YouTube videos. You'll never do it again. It's
Really?
disgusting. They make it with diesel gas.
Oh, you were
and
telling me
battery
that.
acid,
You were-
bro.
yeah, you were talking about that.
Couldn't be any filthier. I'm like, could you get anything? They're like, is there any like uranium you could somehow use in this process? I swear, some of it's not even necessary.
Oh, that's crazy. That's wild.
And you'll learn a lot. I learned a lot about the change, and also from Joey Diaz, which is a bad sign of the times when you're learning things from Joey Diaz.
I was actually quoting him last night on my podcast.
Yeah, I think I seen that.
He's I listen to him, like I'll be making edibles in the kitchen. I always have a podcast on, and like some of the things, like we live such a life like the same, and I'm like, yo, how the fuck, like now I can't talk about something that happened in my life because he did it. Like he's talking about, remember back in the day in the middle of the magazine, Columbia House, like BMG. It was for the younger folk. In the magazine. A magazine
Yeah, I don't know
was
what that is, so. Well, I know what a magazine is, but I don't know BMG, Columbia House.
Yeah, in the middle would like get a CD. I'm really dating myself.
Yeah.
Magazines and CDs were popular in the 90s, and it was a thing because they were expensive. You get 8 CDs, but buy the next one at the regular price of like $23. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
So I would sign up for them. I lived in the beach in a sort of summer community, and I would just fucking line them up to all these people's houses that I knew didn't live there. I had
so funny.
stacks, towers of CDs, like music of bands I heard of, like maybe 3 Non-Blondes, but I didn't even like them. I just did it because I heard them on the radio. Like, and I remember going to fucking class, school. My dad's like, yo, what's in your book bag? I'm like, books. He's like, you don't use books. I had all the empty boxes, and he opened it and he just kicked my ass. It's a federal crime. And Joey Diaz did this. Like, but there's so many parallels of stuff and the coke. I never kidnapped anyone like him, but like, I'm like, fuck, how the fuck do I talk about this? And then someone's gonna think I'm stealing his fucking stories. Like,
dude, no, if you're telling your own stories, totally not. Like, that's unstealable. That's why, like, when people write jokes now, it's like, oh, that's like even if it's an original thought, someone could have that parallel thought. Dude, you're telling your own stories, unstealable. If it's similar, who gives a shit, dude? Everybody's doing stories about dating apps and fucking I love food, and like it's just pretty much my whole set. You know? Trying to lose weight. I mean, everybody's doing those jokes.
yeah.
You're talking about stuff that's so interesting. I mean, who gives a shit if one other guy is talking about it?
I chose to do my podcast last night by myself.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'd rather do 35 minutes of talk and then I was going to go drive to Brooklyn to Eastville to work on this. I got, like, people talk, some comics get on stage talking about not getting laid. I'm like, I've been getting laid looking like this since the 90s. I even had 2 girls propose to me looking like this. You know what I mean? Like, I got married for money once when I was getting sued from one of the guys that hit me first. And then this psychopath that started blowing me and asked me to marry her. And, like, if I said no, the blowjob would have stopped, you know? Like, so I wanted to tell this story, and it's fun. There's 2 things, but it's like, you know, sometimes someone gets up at a mic or a show and they start telling a story, and it's like, Jesus Christ. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm going to start incorporating some of these stories that I live. Listen, I paid a lot of money for legal fees and shit like that.
How much do you think you've spent over the years, over your lifetime, on legal fees?
$100,000.
100,000?
The Connecticut one alone was $35,000.
That's a lot.
The one case where it was $10,000, and I got it dropped out of harassment 2, a violation, not a crime. And I'm like, I want to fight this. He hit me. And my lawyer's like, it's more money. Like, this is a good plea. A couple of weeks later, my sister calls me, got some paperwork in the mail. I was in East New York delivering packages, like a Dumont in Cleveland, I remember. And she's reading it to me. I'm like, hold on, I'm getting sued? So I called the law firm up. That was $35,000 for a civil lawyer. You know what I mean? Let alone the DUI, the other assaults. My mom, that one was only a couple hundred, but it just a lot of different time. Like it adds up quickly. When two were 35,000, that's 70, and then the other one was 80, like close to 100,000.
Yeah, court fees, all that shit. Not only legal fees. Damn.
Yeah, and like that crazy ex that was sucking my dick and asked me to marry, and I said because like if you say no, the blowjob stops. You know what I mean? So that one, I would tell her all the time, like, yo, I paid this much, and like she tormented my life to where like I don't do any bad things anymore. You're gonna call the cops on me? Like you're hitting me. You know what I mean? Then eventually she made me hit her with my car.
Wait, what?
Yeah, this
Classic broad made me hit her with the car.
Oh no!
Never ends with them.
Dude, what? You hit her with your car?
Well, she sort of lunged at it with a lock and chain, like.
Oh yeah, you know.
I've actually seen this happen with a crazy girl who like jumped in front of a car, but the way it happened, there was guys we didn't see their lights were off in a parking lot across the way. So from their point of view, all they seen was us. I was not driving. I wasn't even involved, and hit this girl who actually did jump. She was psychotic. Jumped in front of a car, and I was like, when they came over, I'm like, this is not going to go well.
Listen, if you hit anybody, it's not your fault. That's
No,
pretty much.
It can be their fault. It's hard to explain to people who haven't seen it happen, but like these people they're out of their mind.
Can I try to explain?
Yeah.
But I think
yeah.
Psychopath destroyed my apartment a week before,
Yeah.
assaulted me. We came back from lunch one day. I came too quick, which is not even a slight. You know what I mean? I won. You know what I mean? Like she busted my balls. I said, "No, what? Get the fuck out of here. I'm done hearing you saying about me coming too quick." You know, like, so like the next day, she's like, "I'm coming to get my bike." I'm like, "You're not coming here destroying my apartment." We were fighting.
Yeah.
So I throw a bike in the back. I bring it to a place. I come up. She was a psychopath. She looked like a Marvel character. She had this like velvet cape on with a bikini, blowing in the wind, and like I'm like taking the bike out, and now she's running towards my car. I'm like, she's gonna grab my phone. She takes the keys and threw them over the fence. She was renting the side basement apartment, so she had that driveway. Then it was like an L shape, like a Tetris piece on a big sprawling old Rockaway house. And so she threw it in the yard. The guy had a bull mastiff and a Rottweiler. So now I'm walking towards the back. She's like, yeah. She's rattling the fence. Attack. I'm like, fuck. I'm looking at her. I'm looking at the fence. I'm like, my UPS instincts came out. I'm like, I know dogs. I'm good with dogs. So I open the fence. I'm like, good boys. They come running up from the side, just start licking me. I'm like, all right. So I settled that for her. Now I got to find the keys in this sprawling yard. I find the keys. I come back. The psychopath locked the gate, and I had such adrenaline. I looked at her. I grabbed the top of the fence. It was like 6-7 foot. I wish I was on video. One leap. I grabbed it. So now I'm running to my car. And she's fumbling with the lock, and like it's like a white, like, you know, in a scary movie, like start the car. I couldn't start the car. The fucking chain was, and like now she's walking to the car like Michael Myers, real slow. She opens the door. I get his car started. I drop into like second gear. I go. It's a dead end street because she lives like right by this marina. So I turn around. She has like steam coming out of her nose with the lock and chain, like the Chicago Bull mascot. She comes up. She starts hitting the light of my car. I'm like, what the fuck? I reverse back. Now my Madden instincts kick in. I see a little light to the left, so I L2 and I juke left. She lunges at the car. Boom. I look her in the mirror. She gets up, and I see her in the mirror going like this, like, I'm going to get you. Like, you know what I mean? In the rearview mirror. I'm like, I blow the stop sign. I'm like, yo, I don't even drink or do blow anymore. I'm hitting bitches with my car. You know what I mean?
Jesus, dude.
So I got home. I fucking threw all my shit in my bike, like just supplies for the day. I got the fuck out of there, and then she wrote all these lies about me on my door and the side of my car and marked it.
Gee, did she call the police?
Nah, she just destroyed my shit.
Hey, listen, it could have been worse.
But
it
then
could have been worse.
Then we were done. I was done at that point. And then she's like, all week trying to get my attention. Then Friday said she was going to harm herself. So I had to go there. Oof. I go there. Of course, we fucked. The next day, I'm a new person. She put her little miniature pincher that would drive around and sell weed with in the car. I love this dog. And she put it out in the yard. The bull mastiff opened that back gate and they killed the dog.
Get the fuck out.
Like, you don't fuck with life. You don't say, I'm going to take my life to get me to come there. I'm a good person. Like, I know I just said I hit someone with my car, but she lunged. Fuck that. I was a good person. And, like, then you sacked the guards or whoever took your dog because you said you got me there by saying you're going to take your life. And then that's a chain of events.
Damn.
Yeah, then I had to sit there with the dead dog. She's hugging it in the shower. It was like traumatic.
Dude, that's a full-on nightmare.
Oh my God. Bull Mastiff just fucking eating a little. Oh.
Yeah, they're a big dog, dude.
Yeah. What's the big, are you a dog guy?
I can't pick up the shit.
I keep seeing these.
I don't even wipe myself.
Welcome to the couch.
Big bidet guy. No, big bidet
Oh,
guy.
I love
got two bidets.
I love a bidet. Listen, I don't have time. You know, it gets it. It's great.
The whole process, the smearing, the taunt, like it. When I had to do it, it's like, what the fuck are these people doing? Like when I was on the road, I'm like, the fuck is wrong with people? Why are they still doing this?
Yeah,
they should have bidets at rest stops. Those would be a treat.
Oh yeah. I mean, they should have. You know, they should have.
Imagine a rest stop bidet, dude.
They should have fucking
be some homeless guy washing his face
locks
in there
on the doors at rest stops. I mean, let's start there, okay, Michael?
I'd rather go in the woods, to be honest with you.
Let's fill up all the glory holes before we start installing bidets. You know?
Oh man.
Clean the mirrors.
How we doing?
We got time, dude. We're only at 51 minutes.
All right, let's rock it,
Yeah,
baby.
we got time. Dude, that's so funny. Wait, so the first girl, I have a couple things. The first girl you married for money?
Yeah. When I found out I was getting sued, everyone on that block wasn't getting their package. I was so mad. I was just fucking putting sticky notes on the door, taking the package and launching in the back of the truck. Because once I called the law firm, like, yeah, $35,000. I'm like, yo, I paid $10 for the criminal. They go, yeah, civil's a lot more. I'm like, $45 for me getting hit? I got hit. You know what I mean? Like,
damn.
So then, like, a gift from God or my dad was looking down on me. 10 minutes later, guy from work, this Colombian dude, was like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, fucking working. He's like, hey, you want to, like, just told it, seemed like he was just bullshitting. We're like, hey, you want to get married? I'm like, maybe one day if I meet the right girl. Like, what? He goes, no, my cousin. I was like, oh, hell yeah. I got to come home with $35,000. I'm a degenerate gambler with no bread. You know what I mean?
Dude, that's something that I've heard a lot. There are comics who have done that, marrying for money in that sense.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about it.
Yeah, okay. And then that's the other thing is Kerrigan said you're a big gambler, which I love that.
I'm taking a little break after that buyout on the bridge.
I
didn't want to get into
Dude, that's a great. Do you want to talk about that? Kerrigan told me that story. Are you upset by that?
Yeah, because I was so hard. I was hosting a 420 show. Listen,
Can you tell the story? Yeah, can you tell the story?
It was the playoffs with the Sixers and the Raptors a couple days earlier. I like betting the first round of the playoffs because there's usually some good bets.
Yeah,
The shittier teams are on their way out, you know. So I took like a $3,000 bet. I turned it into 9, and then I turned the 9 into 30, and then I put 30 on a 3-teamer with the last team being the Raptors versus the Sixers versus the Raptors, game 3, and I paid $130,000. So I'm hosting the 420 show, and I'm just ripping blunts. It was a fun show. Picked the boys up, and I forgot I hedged it. You know, I hedged it on DraftKings on a different site, and I hedged it with the street, and with a guy in the street, and we're going over the bridge. First, before the game, they're offering me $60,000, and I already had a whole thing where I left like $70,000 on the table between bets I cashed out early because I pussied out, and they wind up hitting because it's an algorithm. You're playing it's a computer against a stupid human. You know what I mean? Like with emotions and greed, which I try to have none of emotion. You know what I mean? Like, and we're going over the Williamsburg Bridge. It goes to over. They were down 10.5. They came back, and I'm like, yo, they're offering me $60,000. And after all the hedges, I wasn't thinking that I should have just let it ride because the hedges would have fucking covered the money I laid out and then some. And I left $130,000 on the table, and I cashed out. And by the time with the hedges, I was almost back to point A. And it's my own fault. I shouldn't have been so high. I should have just fucking
let it ride.
And it's not even hindsight. It's because I did the due diligence of hedging. Hedging is going, and I put money on the Raptors. I had the Sixers.
Okay.
So I was guaranteed myself money either way, but I wasn't thinking because I was so fucking high from hosting a 420 show.
Dude. So you ended up losing money, or you ended
and then
up
I started
not
chasing,
making as much?
I did not make it as much, but then I started, that was in my mind. And then the last day of the year, I was pounding fucking bets where I almost hit for 200,000. I went 4 out of 5 on 3 different parlays. The Dallas Mavericks against the fucking Spurs in the first half, and they wound up routing them. And these are huge numbers, but I was betting fucking 5 teams with the spread. That pays if you put 2,500, it pays like fucking 70,000. I had 3 of them. You know what I mean? And the fucking Mavericks first half against the Spurs, and I was just chasing. And I'm done right now. I'll do these small player props, and I need a break. I mentally burnt out. You know what I mean?
What's the biggest bet you've ever won? Lifetime.
I had a sick run where I went to Vegas right before the pandemic, and I hit them for like $1.50. Wow. We had to prolong the trip, and then my boy's like, yo, we have to go back. I was paying for everything for him.
Yeah.
Going to Spago 3 times a day in Bellagio, just living it up. He's like, can we go to Chick-fil-A? Because he loves Chick-fil-A. We don't have it in New York. I'm like, where we live in Rockaway.
Yeah.
And we prolonged the trip, and then we come back. We ate like 500 milligrams each, get on the plane. I'm like, yo, Steph Curry doesn't stop shooting. My car was parked at JFK. Like, yo, we're hitting the night games. Drove all the way to the Meadowlands. This is before it was legal.
Yeah.
Hit him there for another fucking $60,000.
Oh,
and,
my God.
Then this year I had a good run. I was paying my friend $100 a bet, 1 bet a day, because he lived in Jersey. He has a family. I can't, boom, boom, boom. I keep like an animal bet. And I hit him like the beginning of January for like 100 in one day. The most I won in one day was like 100,000 on a Sunday.
Whoa, dude.
And then New York legalizes it. I have a bad January because winning was never an issue. It was always giving it back. When I had the bookies in New York, when I did bet through them, it's like, oh, you win a bunch of money. Next thing you know, it was a max $500 bet. Now they put it up to $3,000. And of course, I can't control myself. I wasn't happy till everything was maxed out, and I would give it all back and then some. And like winning was never hard. It was giving it back, and that's what I dealt with the legalized gambling in New York. Or you know what I mean? Like we fucking, I can't control myself, and I hurt myself after chasing that from the $1.30. And there was times on the trip I'm like, all right, West Virginia's legal, Cleveland's not. And like that time when we drove through the night, I was trying my hardest because the game started at 1 the next day to get through Cleveland, get to a motel, and then hit the road and try to get to West Virginia or Virginia to put the bets in.
I remember that.
Dude, that's...
You're like, I want to pull over Big T. I'm like, no, we got to get there. We have a show.
They're trying to make the show. You're like, I got to fucking put $500 on Steph Curry.
Oh, and then...
That's nuts, dude.
Then after the $1.30, I took a bunch of the 60 out, and I put like a $9,500. It was like whatever, like not the 10,000, like a odd number.
Yeah.
So I let it ride on a 3-teamer, and then when we were in Newport, Kentucky, I had the one game the Hawks win. The Heat are up 10. I fucking prematurely ejaculate, which you never do with gambling, and I fuck with the guards, and I get up there at the end of the show. I'm like, hey, listen, that parlay I was talking about earlier, because I talk about it during my set.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's hidden. Drinks on me. They came back and they lost, and I paid $45,000. Remember that one? That fucking hurt. That one hurt.
Holy
So
shit.
twice in a matter of a month, I was looking at $200,000 in 2 days.
Dude, that would pay off my law school loans.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
and then it put me in a little downward spiral, and it hurt. And I'm done now.
That's great.
Till at least September.
That's probably why you're sleeping better, dude. That stuff's no good for anxiety.
Oh yeah, I sleep horrendously.
Yeah, that and the thousands of milligrams of edibles.
Yeah.
Oh, it was the eating afterwards. Like,
Yeah.
10,000 calories, and then from my esophagus to my asshole is just processing food, so my body thinks we're up. They think it's lunchtime. It's fucking 2 a.m, so I wasn't sleeping from that. Probably heartburn, indigestion, all that
Yeah,
shit.
dude, you eat edibles, and I'm not a big eater. Like in general, you'll eat edibles. You'll wake up to go to the bathroom. You'll just go in the fridge and eat anything. You can just it makes your appetite go insane.
Dude, I've never heard anybody say from my esophagus to my asshole, everything's processing.
Hey, the kid can eat. I'll tell you that
That's,
right now.
dude, that's I've never heard anyone say that, and I've legit felt that way before, and I've never been able to put it into words. Oh my God.
And with the middle of the night shit, it's like you always chew the stuff that is so bad for your teeth, like maybe the goldfish that just gets stuck in your teeth, and it's just gonna rot all night. There's never something like just easily processed through your mouth. There's always something that's gonna cake up. Like I don't know why.
It's like a brownie.
Yeah, just shit in your
Oreo.
teeth when you wake up. It's like
My buddy had a roommate who used to sleep eat. Like sleepwalk, but he'd eat in his sleep, and know he'd sleep eat because like he'd have the lunch meat, so he'd have like a pound of turkey for work, and there'd be a bite through every single piece of turkey. Like, you know what I mean? You ruined the whole batch.
You can't even hide that, dude. You can't even hide it.
And
it was so funny.
The white trashness in me, high as fuck in the middle of the night, and you have deli sliced yellow American cheese. Like, come on, you can just sit there eating cheese like it's yellow American when you're high as fuck.
Every time, I don't know what it is. Every time I go home to see my family, it's just fucking. I love the deli meat. A little bologna, a little ham, a little cheese. Munster, kryptonite. I could eat
the
Munster
cheddar
all day.
I like the cheddar.
Cheddar's
Ooh,
good too.
Cheddar's
Yeah.
Slices now. I'm not doing the Cracker Barrel one anymore, which is my dad used to do the old school.
Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, that's an old school
But
thing.
Cracker Barrel comes sliced now with these little pieces.
Oh,
of
yeah.
wax paper in the
Oh
middle.
yeah, they do. I do like that's what I mean, the Cracker Barrel. I thought you meant the restaurant.
Hey, so are we going to be doing any? We'll put it in the comments if it comes up. Even later episodes, we'll plug it. Any Rockaway? We got to do a Rockaway something over the summer because Big T throws these crazy outdoor. We did an outdoor comedy show, and it was just something to be seen. We had a drone, bonfires. Like he said, like that 80s vibe. Like he's not joking. Like there was a guy that was walking around like just like not like a stand-up, but like an 80s, like someone you'd see a villain talking trash to everyone. He'd be like, "Hey, what's up, dickhead? I'm gonna bang your girl. You want to do some coke, bitch?" And he'd grab someone's girl that we're with, and she does coke. He's like, "Yeah, she'll be mine in about 20 minutes." And he's like winging. He has glasses on. I'm like, dude, who is this guy?
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he's like, they'd call him like Speedy Larry. He's just talking trash. He's doing coke off his hand. He's offering coke to everyone. He's like, "I got the best coke in town. I'll have everybody's girl in my lap. Your girl's mine." It was just,
dude. Is he an old guy?
No, I mean he's not young, but he's not like old.
Like 60s. No,
but that's like the Rockaway vibe.
That.
It's like a time capsule. You'll meet people. You're like, dude, they don't make your model anymore. You've been gone out of circulation for years.
Yeah. That confidence, dude. The character confidence. I like that.
It's just an insular community where it's like the outside world hasn't fully taken over because they got that like the private vibe going.
Yeah.
Like, dude, this was the dead center of Corona. This is like mask. People are like only looking out the window. We're going down to the beach getting crazy. Dudes were rolling up on jet skis to the show.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
We'll do it again. I got the speaker. We tried running it back last year, but like on the beach part, like I said, that was on the bay. And just 35-mile-an-hour winds. It just
even if it isn't outside, because the reason that was so cool was because it was also during the lockdown Corona. Like, just I like the Rockaway. We've done a bunch of shows. We did the 13th hole. I've done a bunch of shows. Every show, Tommy packs him out with his crew, and his crew is wild. So that's right up my alley with comedy. Like I don't got to watch what I'm doing. You know, I'm not going to be like, dealt with or whatever.
Yeah, they're not going to shut the mic down after Mike gets on.
It's not. They're not going to have like a safe space meeting after and be like, does everyone here feel safe?
They're gonna come up to you afterwards and reassure you that off-color joke was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Hey, I loved you said, especially when you talked about minorities. Just like, all right, it was a joke, guys. We're connecting for the wrong reasons.
Hey, I got some jokes about them, and then you hear stuff you haven't heard since maybe
listen.
a kid or ever.
Yeah, it's like, hey, that's not what I want you to know me for.
They're good people, hard working. They're saving sanitation, teachers, and firemen. They're all solid people.
Dude, when I went, I haven't spent much time, but what is the bar, the Cabana? Is that Long Beach or is that Rockaway?
Long Beach.
Yeah, so when I went to visit my buddy, I feel like those communities are kind of similar, like Long Beach, Rockaway, Far Rockaway. They're all like that. Dude, I went out there to see him on a Sunday, I remember, and we did like day drinking, brunch, whatever. Dude, we were drinking till like midnight. Everybody was out. I was like, don't people work on Monday? And he's like, not really. Kind of. He's like, dude, it was such a fun vibe, man. I loved it. I love that area.
Long Beach. I love Rockaway, but I do love Long Beach. It's more of a California vibe.
That's what it felt like. Exactly like that.
Because it has that main strip.
Yeah.
West Beach.
Yeah, we'll have to get down there. I've never been there,
It's
so
fun
that's
as hell.
a good excuse.
Yeah, no, it's good food, like hot chicks, people boozing, the beach right there. It's awesome.
Yeah,
It really
I had
is.
a fucking blast. Oh, it was so good.
You guys have to come down to Rockaway. You have to,
Dude, I always
that,
come down
man.
at some
Hell
point.
yeah.
Usually Big T meets me on the beach. He used to have a beach cruiser bike. I love like that. People, when I talk to New Yorkers, I guess they think of Rockaway maybe from their childhood, like it's a dump. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? They got a brand new boardwalk. They got those little cabana huts with the
concessions.
There'll be a guy playing guitar. You can get like a pizza.
I'm assuming after Sandy, everything was like
Oh,
rebuilt.
yeah. That's why they don't
kinda
realize
brand
it.
new.
They have these like butterfly gardens. It's amazing down there.
A lot of
Pretty great.
I guess hipsters saw it on the news, like this place is on fire, and they came down. They brought really good food, and just cool spots like a Rockaway taco, seafood tacos, fish tacos.
cool.
Just they have Wits End. This guy eccentric, no fucking slices, legit a pizza Nazi. Like throw old people out, like shut the fuck up. We're not lowering the rap music. Get the fuck out of here. Like fighting the state liquor license, even though they didn't sell booze. Like fighting during the pandemic, like having party. We had shows there. We had fucking it was just there's a good vibe down there.
That's good. I like that a lot, dude. How you feeling? You got anything else you want to? We usually do about an hour, so like,
Yeah, we're about there.
But we sometimes go over. If you got anything else you want to talk about, this is great.
Or
man.
any upcoming shows, gigs, anything you need to plug.
Fuck, I'm drawing a blank right now.
No,
I was just having fun,
dude. This is great. This
me,
feels like a teaser, man. We're gonna have
Yeah,
to definitely
and you got to
have you
just
back.
throw them the Insta right now, so they got the Insta. They can hit you up
yeah,
there.
the big tits, big pics. My tits were always out. Like even in like, this is not even promoting it, but like,
just say
when
it,
we were doing blow, I had this whole family. Well, most people in the neighborhood, because we were all packing, and people were like, yo, let me get some. I'm like, I had my shirt off, I'd pour it on my tit, and like some people would pause, and then a lot of people just, I'd get on my knees, dry my head quick, doing lines off my head. And I had this one family. I had the daughter and the son on both tits, and then I had the daughter and her boyfriend, and then I'm hanging out at this place, the surf club, and I'm fucking pissing. I have a tank top on. The dad came in. He's like, hey, Pharaoh. I didn't even know. He was like, you have any blow? I pulled my tit over. I poured it out. He's like, I'm not doing that. And I leaned over like I was going to push it in the urinal. He leaned in from the sink, did a blow off my tit. All I needed was the mother and the other daughter. I had the whole family do blow off my tits and the boyfriend. It was just a different era. As I put my tits up, I was thinking about that. I left that one out.
Oh, dude, that'll be a clip. That'll be a clip.
But I have a couple of upcoming shows at the end of June. I can't remember right now, but
yeah, where you list them all on your Instagram?
yeah, I'm always promoting stuff. Oh, and Rockaway at the wine bar, Sarah's Wine Bar. My man Sekou runs a show right across the street, backyard. We were rocking it out. It was packed last time. And stay tuned for a beat show. Definitely have you guys
put it in the
down.
comments, and we'll keep you guys plugged in on future episodes about the upcoming beat show.
Hell yeah.
All right. Yeah, Mike T. Kerrigan on Instagram.
Dylan Krasinski on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Follow us here. Rate, review, and subscribe. Seattle Town Hall is out every Wednesday. Thank you guys for being here. We will see you next week. Go follow Tom.
Yeah.
Big T, baby.
All right.
Good night.
Thanks for having me.
Nice.
That was great.